Picture a world where money moves at the speed of light, where artists sell their work directly to fans without middlemen, where global finance runs on open code instead of closed institutions. That world is already being built, and at the center of it are two powerful forces: Ethereum, Solana. One is the pioneer, the network that made smart contracts real and opened the door to decentralized apps. The other is the challenger, faster, cheaper, built for scale from the ground up. For years, people have argued over which one will win. But in 2026, the question is no longer just about technology. It's about vision. It's about adoption, and it's about who will power the next generation of the internet. Because behind the headlines, behind the charts, behind the hype, there's a deeper story unfolding. A story about speed versus security, innovation versus stability, and the future of how we interact with money, ownership, and each other. So today, we're going to break it all down. Not just from a technical perspective, but from a human perspective. Which platform is actually better in 2026? And more importantly, which one matters most for the future we're all stepping into? In this documentary, you're going to explore one of the biggest rivalries shaping the future of the internet: Ethereum versus Solana. By the end of this video, you'll clearly understand the core differences between the two networks, not just surface-level comparisons, but what actually makes them work, how they process transactions, how they scale, how they secure billions of dollars in value, and why developers choose one over the other. You'll also see how each network is evolving in 2026. The blockchain space moves fast. What mattered 3 years ago doesn't always matter today. Both Ethereum and Solana have changed dramatically, improving speed, cost, and user experience. We'll break down what's new, what's working, and what still needs fixing. But technology alone doesn't tell the full story. We'll look at real-world examples of how people and companies are using these networks right now, from decentralized finance to NFTs, gaming, payments, and even enterprise adoption. You'll see how these platforms are being applied outside of theory and into everyday use. Then we'll examine the strengths and weaknesses that actually matter. Not hype, not tribal opinions, but practical trade-offs: security versus speed, decentralization versus efficiency, stability versus rapid innovation. Because every network makes choices, and those choices shape its future. And finally, we'll step back and ask the big question: which one is better positioned to lead the next era of the internet? Whether you're completely new to crypto or already familiar with the space, this documentary is designed to give you a clear, simple understanding of where things stand today. No jargon, no hype, just an honest look at two of the most important technologies of our time. Let's begin. To understand where we're going, we need to understand where each of these networks came from. Ethereum launched with a bold idea: not just digital money, but a global computer, a place where anyone could build applications that run without centralized control. This single idea sparked an explosion of innovation: decentralized finance, NFTs, DAOs, entire digital economies. By 2026, Ethereum has processed trillions of dollars in value and hosts thousands of applications used by millions of people worldwide. It became the foundation layer of Web3. But Ethereum's strength has always come with trade-offs. As usage grew, so did fees. Transactions slowed, and scaling became a challenge. That's where Solana entered the picture. Solana was built with a different vision from day one: speed, scalability, and near-zero transaction costs. Instead of building slowly and upgrading later, Solana aimed to solve performance at the base layer. The result? A network capable of handling tens of thousands of transactions per second, fast enough for real-world use at global scale. By 2026, Solana has become a hub for high-performance apps, real-time trading platforms, on-chain gaming ecosystems, consumer apps with millions of users. Where Ethereum built the foundation, Solana built the highway. Let's talk about something that affects everyone: speed and cost. Because technology only matters if people actually use it. It doesn't matter how powerful a blockchain is on paper. If it's slow, expensive, or complicated, most people simply won't touch it. Adoption doesn't come from technical white papers. It comes from real-world usability. Now, here's where things get interesting in 2026. Ethereum has made serious progress. Over the past few years, it's evolved. With Layer 2 scaling solutions like rollups and sidechains, transactions are now significantly faster and much cheaper than they used to be. What once cost tens of dollars can now cost just a few dollars, sometimes even less. But there's still a catch. Using Ethereum today often means navigating multiple layers. You might move assets from the main network to a Layer 2, you might use bridges, you might deal with different interfaces depending on where your funds are sitting. For experienced crypto users, that's manageable. For beginners, it can feel overwhelming. Solana takes a different approach. One network, low fees, near-instant transactions. There's no need to think about layers or bridging between ecosystems just to get basic speed and affordability. Everything happens on a single, high-throughput chain. And for everyday users, that simplicity makes a big difference. Imagine sending money across the world. You open an app, type in the amount, hit send. On Ethereum, depending on the route you choose, it might cost a few dollars and take some time to confirm. It's not terrible, but it's not invisible either. On Solana, that same transaction costs a fraction of a cent and settles in seconds. It feels almost like sending a text message. That user experience changes behavior. When transactions are fast and practically free, people experiment more, they trade more, they send small amounts without thinking twice. They interact with apps without worrying about fees eating into their balance. That's one of the reasons many consumer-facing apps in 2026 are choosing Solana. Mobile payment apps are building directly on Solana rails. NFT marketplaces offer instant minting without high gas fees. Real-time trading platforms rely on Solana's speed to execute orders in seconds, not minutes. For products that depend on responsiveness, latency matters, and Solana delivers that out of the box. But speed isn't everything, because with speed comes risk, and that's where the conversation shifts. When people trust a network with their money, security matters more than anything else. Ethereum has spent years building a reputation for being secure and decentralized. Thousands of nodes around the world verify transactions. A massive developer community audits and tests code, and a long history of resilience has built confidence across institutions, governments, and developers. That's why major financial organizations and global brands often choose Ethereum for high-value applications. Solana has made major improvements in stability by 2026, but it has faced challenges in the past: network outages, centralization concerns, validator requirements that are higher than many other chains. However, Solana has learned and evolved. Upgrades have improved reliability, validator distribution has expanded, and the ecosystem has matured rapidly. So in 2026, the difference looks like this. Ethereum equals maximum trust and decentralization, Solana equals maximum performance and efficiency. And depending on the use case, both approaches make sense. Let's zoom out and look at what's actually happening on the ground in 2026. On Ethereum, the change is no longer theoretical, it's real. Large-scale, decentralized finance platforms are managing billions of dollars in assets. These aren't small experiments anymore. They're structured ecosystems with lending, borrowing, derivatives, and stable assets moving across smart contracts every second. At the same time, global brands are launching tokenized products and loyalty programs directly on Ethereum. Instead of points that expire or stay locked inside one app, customers are holding digital assets they truly own. These tokens can move, trade, and interact with other services. That changes the relationship between companies and users. Even governments are experimenting. Blockchain-based identity systems, secure record-keeping, transparent public registries. Ethereum has quietly positioned itself as a serious infrastructure layer for high-value, high-trust applications. It's not flashy, it's foundational. Now, look at Solana. Solana is exploding in consumer adoption, not because people are talking about blockchains, but because they aren't. Millions of users are interacting with apps that don't even feel like crypto. They download a mobile app, they create an account, they earn rewards, they send money, they buy digital items, and most of them don't stop to think about what chain it's running on. Behind the scenes, it's Solana. Mobile-first applications are letting users earn and spend tokens seamlessly. NFT gaming ecosystems allow assets to move instantly between players with almost no cost. High-speed trading platforms are processing massive daily volume without the slowdowns that used to define blockchain networks. In many cases, users don't even realize they're using Solana. And that's exactly the point. When technology works well, it disappears. Frictionless systems fade into the background. People focus on the experience, not the infrastructure. By 2026, both ecosystems are thriving, but in very different ways. Ethereum dominates high-value infrastructure. It's the backbone for decentralized finance, tokenized assets, and trust-heavy systems that require security and stability. Solana dominates high-speed user experience. It's optimized for scale, speed, and consumer-facing applications where millions of transactions happen in real time. Two different strengths, two different strategies, two different paths moving toward the same future. So which one is better in 2026? Here's the honest answer. There isn't a single winner. Ethereum is building the foundation of decentralized trust. It's focused on resilience, security, and becoming the settlement layer for a new financial system. Solana is building infrastructure for global-scale applications. It's focused on usability, speed, and onboarding the next wave of users who may never even think about blockchain. And the future likely needs both. We're still in the early stages of a massive transformation. The shift toward digital ownership is accelerating. Finance is becoming more open. Opportunity is becoming more global. Barriers that once limited access to capital, markets, and innovation are slowly being lowered. Ethereum and Solana aren't just competing technologies fighting for market share. They're part of a larger movement. A movement towards systems that are more transparent, more programmable, more connected. A world where value can move as easily as information. But the most important question isn't which chain wins, it's how these tools empower people. Because blockchains by themselves don't change the world. People do. Developers building new applications, entrepreneurs creating new business models, communities organizing around shared ownership, individuals gaining access to financial systems they were previously locked out of. The future isn't built by protocols alone. It's built by the people who use them, improve them, and push them forward. And in 2026, That future is no longer a distant idea. It's already unfolding. If you found this breakdown helpful, here's what to do next. Take a second and like this video. It might seem small, but it really helps more people discover content like this. The more engagement this video gets, the more it gets pushed out to others who are trying to understand where technology and finance are headed next. If you enjoy deep, clear explanations about the future of crypto, innovation in digital money, make sure you subscribe. We're going to keep breaking down complex topics in a way that actually makes sense, without hype, without noise, just real analysis you can use to form your own opinion. Now, I'm genuinely curious to hear from you. Which do you believe in more, Ethereum or Solana, and why? Is it Ethereum's long track record, massive developer ecosystem, and steady evolution? Or do you think Solana's speed, low fees, and aggressive growth strategy make it the stronger bet for the future? There's no single right answer here. Different people see different strengths, and your perspective might help someone else think about this in a new way. So don't just drop a name, share your reasoning. These conversations are what make this community valuable. Thanks for watching, and welcome to the future.